Hey guys, DPX here. Welcome back to another TV review, I guess you can call it. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars The Acolyte. Now before we get started, you know what to do. If you like to subscribe and hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will turn you over to the dark side. That makes sense. So, you may have noticed with, whenever there's a new Star Wars show or whatever that comes out, I often review it. So you probably know that I'm a big Star Wars fan. I grew up with it. It means a lot to me. The movies are like my favorite movies ever, but Disney Star Wars has been pretty hit or miss. I feel like Book of Boba Fett was a huge miss. Mandalorian, mostly season 1 and 2, not so much 3, but Mandalorian and especially Andor were massive hits, I feel. Ahsoka and Obi-Wan, I feel like we're kind of in the middle, but The Acolyte, this is what I was looking forward to, because all those other shows take place like within like a time period that we see a lot. The Acolyte is different though in that it takes place way before any of the prequels, so it's like the closest thing to like the Old Republic. So whenever Star Wars is able to set itself apart, like is able to basically do its own thing, or at least a promise to do its own thing, I get excited. And I was excited going into this, and it also had a pretty cool concept, but I tried with this show. I really did. And I feel like I've been very fair with a lot of Disney Star Wars stuff. But this show is, it's just bad. First off, I'll go over the stuff I liked about the show. It's not all bad. For one, the fight scenes, like, at least with Disney Star Wars, the fight scenes, I think the best we've gotten. Like, when the fight scenes happened in the show, I almost forgot that I was watching a bad show. I would change nothing about the fights. Some of the fights, I guess, happen for stupid reasons. Like, there's a fight in the very first episode that happens for a very fucking stupid reason. There are also some visuals in the show that I thought were really cool. There's a few visuals in the finale that I thought were cool. So there's a visual with the lightsaber. I'm going to try not to get too much into spoilers, but there's a visual with a lightsaber in the finale, if you know what I mean. If you've seen it. I think it looked really cool. And also, I forget his name, but the guy who plays Soul, I know him from Squid Game, and I feel like his performance was a highlight of this show. It was like he delivered a performance that reminded me a lot of Qui-Gon Jinn, which I know he's been compared to Qui-Gon Jinn a lot. And I feel like as the series went on, the similarities differed more and more. And I'll get more into his character later, but the performance, I thought was great. But my god, everything else. Like, first of all, the writing, okay? Everything I'm gonna name, every issue I have, kind of comes down to the writing being bad. Because there's some really good ideas in this show, but the writing just does it really dirty. It mainly follows these two twins, and we find out the truth about the twins later on. I'm gonna probably spoil some of the stuff that happens like earlier on in the season, but not later on, if you even care. There's these two twins. You got Osha and May, and Osha was a former Jedi, or at least like a part of the Jedi Order, but then left it while May was presumed dead, and turns out she's not dead, and she's actually going on a Jedi killing spree. But because May was thought to have been dead, the Jedi Order gets a wind of all these other Jedi dying, and Osha is the suspect because, they're twins, and they think May is dead, so it could only be Osha. As it turns out, May is alive. That's like what they figured out within the first 2 episodes, and we kind of go from there. The thing is, the thing between the two sisters lost me in like episode 3, where we saw the backstory, and my god, episode 3 was so bad. I think I drank the Kool-Aid originally when that episode first came out, but my god, it was so cringe. Like, again, I feel like people love to just hate on Disney Star Wars, right? And they call it cringe when it's not always that cringe. This episode was cringe. From the dancing and the fucking like prayer or whatever the fuck the witches did to like the arguments and the reason behind the arguments between the sisters was so bad. I know they're child actors, so I can't really like be too hard on them, but like it's not just that, it's like the writing is really bad. So you have stuff like May is on this Jedi killing spree, but then all of a sudden, without no like prior like anything, like she's paid no attention to her sister. She has had nothing. She wanted nothing to do with her sister, and then just out of completely fucking nowhere is like, you know what? I'm gonna turn myself in to the Jedi, and my allegiance is with my sister. I think that's what she said. Like that just comes out of nowhere, and that's just one of the things that happens. It's like it's so many things like that. That's the type of writing we're dealing with. And then in the next episode where the Jedi like find her, she runs. So it's like, what? And I say that there is good ideas in this show, which there are. There are some very good ideas. I feel like the writing, if it was a better written show, could have delivered better on these ideas. But there's some ideas that they have that like there's some ideas that they execute poorly. Then there's other ideas that I can't even say they execute them at all. The one I'm thinking about specifically is with like episode 4. They set up a Wookiee Jedi. Like how fucking cool is that? A Wookiee Jedi? We're gonna see a fight with a Wookiee Jedi. And like I said, the fight scenes are already like the best part of this entire show. So throw that in with a goddamn Wookiee Jedi. Like I was pumped. And then we get to the Wookiee, and he's fucking dead. He dies off screen. You promised, and you set up this Wookiee Jedi. You set up a fight with this Wookiee Jedi. Kelnaka is his name. I'll call him that. You set up a fight with Kelnaka, and like, sorry about that sound. I hope you don't hear it, but yeah, they set up a fight with Kelnaka, and like they spent like multiple 2 episodes. I was gonna say multiple. It wasn't that much. They set up. No, it was like more than 2. It was like. Yeah, it was more like 2. I don't know, it was a while, and who fucking cares? They set up multiple episodes to have a fight with a Wookiee Jedi, and they failed that. They didn't even bother with it. And then there's like the twist where who the Sith was, you know, and he doesn't really have a Sith name, so I'm just gonna call him what the internet called him, Darth Teeth. So that's what I'll call him. Darth Teeth, Darth Teeth, my god. Darth Teeth, I actually think is like probably one of the most interesting, if not the most interesting character in this show. And the show wasn't really about him, so we didn't get a whole lot about him. So I feel like we could have seen more of him, but at the same time, whatever they would have set up with him, they probably would have fucked it. And even then, like the twist where they revealed that he was the Sith, like it was cool. Like the moment was pretty cool, I'll give it that, and he looked fucking cool as the Sith, but like it was, talk about predictable. Like the only other character in the entire show is the twist villain. Like wow. And my god, it was Soul. Like okay, I mentioned I really liked the performance, but my god, the character, like he was actually like for a little while he was the only character I really liked throughout the entire series up to a certain point. And then they had him, you know, I'll just say this show is supposed to like show us how like the starts of the cracks in the Jedi Order, you know. They're always flawed. Like and we see them flawed. We see them definitely like not the best of people in the prequels. And this was supposed to show the start of that, you know what I mean? And I'll get into Soul specifically in a second, but this show takes it too far with the Jedi, you know? It doesn't make any sense that this is supposed to take place thousands of years before the prequels, which means thousands of years of the Jedi Order. And obviously this is when the Jedi Order's crack started to show. Fine. But it seemed like they had their shit together way more in the prequels than they did in this show. Because in the prequels, yeah, they're flawed, they make some questionable decisions, but they're not evil, they're not douchebags. In this show, they're like actually fucked up. It's just like the Jedi are supposed to be the heroes. They're flawed, yeah, but they're the good guys. This like really makes them look bad. And again, with Soul, they have like him. They give him like a sort of a connection with the twins, but like it. I've heard nobody mention this, but this is just how I felt. His obsession with them was just really weird. Like when like with the kind of like backstory episode where the girls were younger. It was really weird. I'm sorry to like bring it there, but like that's just how it came off. But it's like he did a thing. He did a specific thing. There, you know, it was one of the later episodes. So I don't want to really spoil it. But he did a thing. And then later on, like in the finale, he confesses to doing that thing, and you know he's deemed like a flawed man. But like when you look at what happened, like that he did the thing because this other thing happened, making it justify that he did. Like he was kind of right in committing that act, if you know what I mean. There's so much more to go over with this show, but it's just. Like, I think I can go on and on and on about, like, how bad this is. And I really was not singing this tune when it started. I guess I was just drinking the Kool-Aid, and when it started, it wasn't that bad. Like, it showed potential. And I was drinking the Kool-Aid with with episode 3. And I was, like, I think the first 2 episodes were pretty decent. I was drinking the Kool-Aid, though, with episode 3, and I drank the Kool-Aid with episode 4. But then we got to episode 5. Well, no. Actually, I drank the Kool-Aid at first with episode 4, and then I'm like, well, no, what the fuck is this show? You know what I mean? It's just a flawed. It's a convoluted, poorly written mess of a show. You know, like they failed. They failed this show. It had such potential. Like, there's such good ideas in this show. And I've been wanting a Star Wars thing, like a movie or a show, to take place, like, way before the prequels. I've been wanting to explore that time period so much, and we get there, and it's just awful. It's terrible. So in the end, I'm gonna give The Acolyte a 4 out of 10. So that's The Acolyte. Disappointment for me, but what do you guys think? Do you guys like the show, not like the show? Anything about it, let me know down below. Anyways, if you check the video, comment, subscribe, or I will turn you to the dark side. Bye!